Yo, what's up? I'm back. I had to take a bit of pause the last 2 weeks, wrapping up my semester in uni, had papers, tests, other homework, just a lot of stuff I needed to work on, take a bit of a break. But I've still been testing post-row, so I have lots of content that I want to put out. I just haven't had the time to put it into video or writing form. But yeah, I'm in Arceus tier now, and the deck that's carried me the most, surprisingly, is Dragapult. A few weeks ago, I said that Dragapult was really underwhelming, and that's because I was mostly playing with and against the Dragapult Dusknoir variant. But without Rotom and Lumineon, the deck's strength really felt underwhelming. And when I started playing it without the Dusknoir, I got a lot of extra space to toy around with cards like Pidgeot, Heavy Jacq, Heavy Brock Scouting. The consistency really benefits from cutting the Dusknoir. And with Munkidori, you don't really need the Dusknoir in a lot of games to get your math, especially like Hawlucha and Munkidori. You can Turo your Hawlucha to use it twice in a turn. There's a lot of ways to get that extra math that you're missing without the Dusknoir, but now you have a more consistent setup. And it's kind of turned into, similar to my Guardy philosophy from last format, where I'm trying to build an unbreakable board state in the endgame. And to do that, I play a lot of weird cards, one of which you likely clicked on the video for, my ACE SPEC Survival Brace. Now, there's a lot of other weird cards too, I'd say, and I'm going to break down them and their lines as much as I can in this video without making it too long. I might write an article too to go a bit more in depth. So yeah, let's get into the profile. Alright, so obviously we have Survival Brace as our ACE SPEC. It's kind of been a crazy card in the testing that I've done. It's really impressive, and as we walk through the list, I'm going to talk about a lot of scenarios where it's really good. So, pretty obviously, we have just a 4/4 Drakloak line, and in a lot of games, such as against Terrabox, you can Survival Brace your Drakloak, and that protects it from something like the Wellspring Ogerpon, just wiping your Drakloaks off the board. Also against a more aggressive deck like Archaludon, where they're trying to boss your energies while they're still in Drakloaks, you can just prevent that play by Survival Bracing your Drakloak. And it's a really strong play overall. It really just protects your Drakloaks, so it kind of serves a similar purpose as Sparkling Crystal in that way, as it gives you an extra energy attached later. Then we have two Dragapults. There's a few reasons for me only playing two. I only plan on playing best of 3 in this format, so if I prize 2, I could just go to the next game in a best of 3. And yeah, with the Survival Brace, your first Dragapult's usually not dying, so that means you don't need to use 2 Dragapults in a lot of games, since one Dragapult is getting 2 attacks. And then you could complete the game with a Bloodmoon Ursaluna later. And that's another fun play. You can Survival Brace your Bloodmoon and make a board where your opponent can't deal with your Bloodmoon, and then you just get to Bloodmoon twice and win the game. Then to kind of solidify our early game, I have 1 Cleffa and 2 Budews. I've been playing 3 Budews, 1 Budew, 1 Cleffa, and I found that 2 Budew, 1 Cleffa has felt the best. There's a lot of times you want a Budew, not just for the item lock and slowing your opponent down, but it gets really good damage down. If your opponent has one of the Ogerpons active, 2 10 HP, a Fezandipiti, a Latios, 2 10 HP, the 10 HP, or the 10 damage from Itchy Pollen lets you go 200 later. Obviously, we have Hawlucha, but now you get to save your Hawlucha and not put an extra damage on their board if they're playing something like Munkidori, which can break your Survival Brace. Then I am playing a 101 Pidgeot line. The Pidgeot line is actually really strong. It basically acts as a Lumineon in making that aforementioned unbreakable board state, in that you just set up a checkmate board against your opponent, and they can't really do anything about it. I have a Fezandipiti, pretty obvious. It's just makes the deck flow super well. The combination of Recon, Flip the Script, and Quick Search means on turns that you need to combo, you're really likely to combo, which is fantastic. Then the 2 damage modifiers are Munkidori and Hawlucha. The Munkidori Adrenabrain, it lets you prevent your opponent from poking your Survival Brace Dragapult with something like an Itchy Pollen or a Sob, and also puts damage on your opponent's board, which lets you knock out Pokemon on the bench more effectively with Phantom Dive. A really strong play against other Dragapult decks is you just sit behind a Budew while you have a bunch of Drakloaks, all with energies on them. Your opponent doesn't attack, and then you go Iono, Adrenabrain, move 30 to their Drakloak, countercatcher Drakloak, kill double Drakloak, or double Duskull, whatever's most threatening on their board. The Munkidori feels fantastic. Hawlucha lets you kill 70 HP guys like Dreepies, but more importantly, Hoothoots. Against Terrabox and Trapagos, a lot of times your first attack is going to be knocking out 2 Hoothoots and just denying them draw for the rest of the game. which really combos well with the 4 Ionos we play, which we'll get into next. So my supporters are 4 Iono, 4 Arven for like the main consistency. With Arven, you just get a Poffin rescue board, and Poffin can be Budew or Cleffa, which are both really fantastic. And that's another reason that Cleffa is so strong. It makes your Arvens into a draw supporter in a way. Like, if you just have Arven, it's not always great without like a TM evolution or something, but with Cleffa, our Arvens turn into potentially more Drakloaks, energies, whatever we really need for the rest of the game. Then I have a few more consistency supporters in 2 Brock Scouting and a Jacq. At 1.9 I had 3 Brock Scouting. It just makes your turn 1 going second so good. Like, you're just finding all your basics. However, with the 101 Pidgeot, the 1 Jacq gets a lot of value. Because in games where you, like, have a Poffin in your hand, and then you have Arven, you can grab another Poffin, and you can set up a board of, like, Cleffa, Pidgey, double Dreepy, and then you use Grasping Draw, and then you're in a pretty good spot to, like, find Candy Pidgeot or something to get your Pidgeot out. And then you can Pidgeot for the Jacq, get 2 Drakloaks, which just makes the Jacq pretty good value. It's also a lot better in the late game for comboing because it can find you, like, Pidgeot Dragapult. I've been testing variants with 3 Jacq, 3 Brocks, and I found the 2-1 splits really good. Brock is really strong on combo turns as well, since you can find Fezandipiti and Hawlucha, which gives you a draw 3 and the Hawlucha damage if you need it for that turn, which is really good overall. Then I have some weirder supporter. Well, obviously there's 2 boss. Yeah. A lot of times you need 4 gusts. I've been playing with 1 boss, 1 pal pad, but the pal pad's just a little awkward sometimes. I have a Crispin. I actually think Crispin's really weak in Dragapult, but since I'm playing the Pidgeot, it's searchable. So as a 1-of, it's good. But I think in other versions, you need to either be playing 0 or at least 2. And it doesn't feel great a lot of times. So yeah. Then I have 1 Turo, 1 Penny. Turo obviously lets you pick up your Dragapult, Fez, Bloodmoon, whatever. But the Penny only lets you pick up stuff like Fez or Bloodmoon. So why am I playing Penny? One of the fun lines you can do is you can bench your Fez on a combo turn where you need to use like Arven or Iono or something, or Crispin, Boss, etc. Then you can Survival Brace your Fezandipiti. This means your opponent cannot go Gust and knock out your Fez, take 2 prizes. Or if they do, they're doing 200 damage to discard your Survival Brace, which they're not really inclined to do. They'd rather just be hitting your Dragapult, for example. So that means your Fez is just staying on the board with without being able to be KO'd. And if you ever want to take it off the board, you can Penny it up and then reuse your Survival Brace, which is a really strong play. But also, I do play a Bravery Charm as well, so you can Bravery Charm your Bloodmoon, which is super good against Terra Box, and then you can Penny and reuse the Bloodmoon with the Bravery Charm. And Bloodmoon looping has been, like, so strong in this meta. Like, I have a deck that basically just Bloodmoon loops in so many games. I hope I'm going to make a video on it soon, because it's so fun, but it's a little bit gimmicky. But yeah, the Penny is really strong, and with Pidgeot, 1 Turo has been completely fine. You can kind of just find it when you need. A lot of times you're not Turoing your Dragapult, is what I found. So usually you're using it on, like, little guys, like, say you're playing Mirror Match and you want to take your Buddy or Cleffa off the board, and Penny fulfills that purpose as well perfectly. So yeah. There's also funnier plays where you can have your Dark on your Monkey and then Penny redrop the Monkey, which just makes it a little bit easier to double Monkey in a turn than Turo, which discards the Dark, then you have to find a recovery, since we are only playing 1 Dark, just due to space limitations. Then for items, obviously 4 Poffin, then I have 3 Ultra Ball and 1 Nest Ball. I'd love to fit another Nest Ball, however, with the 2 Brocks, it's not really too big of a deal. I just want to be a bit less reliant on item-based, just because so many decks are playing Budew, and yeah, having the supporter search is really good, but obviously you still want to be able to, like, Arven for Nest Ball for Fezandipiti, if you need to find, like, something that you can't search off Arven. Like, if you already use your Energy Search or prize your Energy Search, and you need to draw an energy, being able to Arven for Nest Ball for Fez is really strong if you have no other supporters. The 3 Ultra Ball is pretty important in finding, like, Pidgeots and Dragapult. Since I am only playing 2 Dragapult, one thing is that it is a little bit harder to find, but with the 2 Brocks, the Jacq, 3 Ultra Ball, it kind of, like, evens out, and yeah, it's been pretty good overall. Then I have 2 Rare Candies. This is mainly just for the Pidgeot. I am playing 2, though, just because it lets you go Candy Pidgeot, Candy Dragapult, or just find it a bit more consistently. If you get a Turn 1 attached onto Dreepy, a lot of decks may just read your deck as being a straight Pult deck and not playing any candies. So having the 2 candies really lets you pressure your opponent sometimes, which I really appreciate. I definitely could see going down to 1 candy though, because at one point I had 202 Pidgeot, but I've gone down to 101 just because I haven't been setting it up like super consistently. So there's definitely an argument to go to only 1 candy. I have 2 counter catchers for the same reason as 2 boss. You really just need the Gust, and this lets you play an Iono, which is just super strong. Yeah, counter catcher's broken, especially in this deck where a lot of times our early game is like Grasping Draw for a turn, Budew for a turn, maybe one of those for 2 turns. As we evolve up our board into Drakloaks and get energies, so we can start spamming Dragapult attacks, because Phantom Dive is broken. Then we have a Super Rod. This is just my recovery card of choice, for the reason that it only takes up 1 spot, and it lets me get Monkey Dark, which is 2 cards. It can get me energies and the Pokemon I need. And it also sets up for Iono really well. Like, let's say I anticipate my opponent's going to Iono me on their turn, since I have, like, game in hand or something. But they're also taking a knockout. I can Ultra Ball away my Fezandipiti and then Super Rod it back into the deck, so I'm more likely to draw into my Fezandipiti if I can't bench it that turn, for example. Yeah, I really like the Super Rod. I haven't really missed Night Stretcher at all. There hasn't really been a case where Night Stretcher would be better than Super Rod yet. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of games I don't even need recovery, so it's obviously just nice to have. It also pairs well with Crispin sometimes if you have, like, bad discards early or, like, running low on energies due to prizing, which can definitely happen. So, yeah. I also have an Energy Search. I play Energy Search over Vessel just because I found a lot of times it's really awkward to discard cards from my hand, and I also, a lot of times, Iono or Disrupt after using the Vessel. So, it just, I don't know. I think Energy Search is a little bit stronger right now, just because of that, not having the cost. Yeah. Then the last tools I play are a Rescue Board and a Bravery Charm. The Bravery Charm, as I mentioned before, is really strong on Bloodmoon Ursaluna. It's also really strong on Fezandipiti, just because, similarly to how Survival Brace prevents it being one-shot, 260 is a really difficult number to reach, so you can set up a pretty good board of, like, Bloodmoon and a Charmed Fez if you've already used your Survival Brace or don't have access to it. But yeah, or if you want to, like, Survival Brace a 1 prize, or if your opponent's at, like, 1 prize, you can make a really strong board like that. And then the Rescue Board, obviously it turns all your Arvens into a pivot into Budew or Cleffa, and yeah, it's just a really good card overall. I have 1 Artazon just for a Stadium Bump for, like, jamming towers or stuff. If you don't play Stadium Bump, something like Raging Bolt could just pre-play their jamming tower and destroy you, which is not very fun. Oh, I guess another thing I should talk about with the tools is some decks play Defiance Vest and EXP Share. Bravery Charm could be Defiance Vest. Defiance Vest is really strong since you can put on your Drakloak and it can't get Water Pond. But Survival Brace kind of fulfills that, and I really like being able to Bravery Charm the Bloodmoon, bring it to 310. Terrabox's max damage is 300, so they can't one-shot a Bloodmoon, which is just really good. But yeah, Defiance Vest has been really strong in the unfair stamp builds I've played. And then EXP Share, since your Dragapult's not really dying with the Survival Brace ever in one shot, like against a Clefairy, for example. Clefairies now can't one-shot your Dragapult. It means you don't need the EXP Share, and you have the Crispin, so overall, no EXP Share is fine. It's on the list of cards I'd add, but it's pretty low. Like, there's so many good cards to add. And then my energies, it's 3 Fire, 3 Psychic, and 1 Dark. This is just, yeah, pretty simple. 2 Dark would be cool. Like, a lot of times I want a Munkidori, and then I either prize the Munkidori or Dark. I tried 2 Monkey, 2 Dark at one point, but it does kind of feel bad. Another Psychic or Fire is never bad, though, just so you increase your odds of finding it in the early game. But with, like, Crispin, Energy Search, and all the Arvens, it's like, you have decent odds. And Cleffa lets you draw more cards. But, yeah, I've really been liking where the list is at. The Survival Brace, I thought of it at first, and it seemed so troll, but it's just, like, the more I play with it, the better and better it performs. And, yeah, I don't know. If I were to play a more traditional list, I'd probably be playing the 4-4-3 line of Dragapult. I really like the 2 Budew 1 Cleffa split. I'd cut, like, the Pidgeots and Candies. Go to, like, 2 Jacq, 2 Brox, 2 Turo, a second Nest Ball, and, like, a second Artazon. Just, the big thing with this deck is just maximizing consistency, because it's similar to how I, like, thought of Guardy last format, where if you maximize consistency in the early game, you get to the late game more often, where you just get to spam Iono and use Phantom Dive, which is just broken. Especially with Unfair Stamp. Unfair Stamp is really good in the deck as well, but I don't know. Survival Brace has been overperforming my expectations. I don't know if it's like... I don't know. It's hard to say if it's actually better. I do have a relatively low sample size. I think I've only played like 20 to 30 games with this, and like 10 with the Unfair Stamps. But yeah, Survival Brace has really impressed me. It's really cool, and sets up a lot of really strong board states that let you get back ahead, since most games you're playing from behind, just with how Dragapult works. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I think you should give this deck a try. It's awesome. Like, I don't know, all my decks are slowly turning into like Pidgeot box decks, which is really funny. This Pidgeot card is broken, this Bloodmoon card is broken, Munkidori and Fez are so good, like all the good cards are in this deck. The deck has really impressed me, and yeah, so thanks for watching. If you could like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, boost the algorithm, I'd really appreciate it. I hope to get some more content out soon, but yeah, thanks for watching.